truth! You can't handle the truth!
I'm getting ready to do one of my last trials ever, and in preparation for the trial, I do what every lawyer does. I watch A Few Good Men for guidance. Jokes aside, for those of you who have not been following my channel, I started this video about 1.5 years ago when I was preparing for what was supposed to be one of my last 2 trials. The day of the trial, I got sick with the stomach flu and couldn't show up to court. The only time that I ever missed a day of work. Also, if you have not been following my channel for a while, I am a commercial litigator turned YouTuber. I've been putting out daily videos for the last 2 years. A video a day for the last 2 years. Some vlogs, some fishing videos, some cooking videos. If this is your first time here, welcome. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I put up new videos. I'm preparing the cross-examination of the plaintiff, and I figured for effect I would explain what makes for a good and a bad cross-examination, illustrating the points through what is perhaps the most famous courtroom scene in cinematic history, A Few Good Men. You want the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
I'm gonna go through that scene, element by element, to break it down to show you what is realistic, what is unrealistic, what makes for a good cross-examination, what makes for a bad cross-examination, and give you some tips for how to conduct your own cross-examination. So let's get started, shall we?
Is this funny, sir?
No, it's not. It's tragic. Now, are these really the questions that I was called here to answer? Please tell me that you have something more, Lieutenant. Do you have any other questions for me, Counselor? Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
Generally speaking, you have 3 types of witnesses. The witnesses that are there to help you, the neutral witnesses, and what we call the hostile witnesses, or the witnesses that you know are not there to help you. They can be the other party's representative or the other party, or just witnesses that do not have a vested interest to help you for whatever the reason. Identifying the nature of the witness is going to help you determine sort of the best strategy to address those witnesses. Plus, there are certain rules in terms of examining those types of witnesses. For example, your own witnesses or your own client, you can't ask what we call leading questions. You have to ask open-ended questions. So you can't ask your client questions that sort of presuppose the answer. You have to ask open-ended questions that allow the witness to offer their testimony. But when you have the other party, or what we'll just refer to as hostile witnesses, they're not going to give you the answer that you're looking for, so you can ask them leading questions. You could ask them, is it not the case that X, Y, and Z? Whereas you can't ask your own client that question because there will be an objection on the basis that you are leading the witness. Your own witness is going to want to be helpful. They're going to want to give the information that's going to help you make your case. The neutral witness is unpredictable to some extent, and the adverse witness or the hostile witness, you know they are not there to help. To the extent that they can get a point out that's going to hurt your case, they're going to try to do it. To the extent that they can hide the information that they know is going to be beneficial for your case, they're going to try to do it. So you have to know which strategy to best adopt in order to get the information you need out of the witness, depending on what kind of witness it is. In this case, Jack Nicholson is a hostile witness, definitely not there to give the answers that the lawyer is looking for, and there to be a bit of a jerk and to give the lawyer as hard a time as possible. So you will see hostile witnesses act like arrogant jerks, like Jack Nicholson is acting like right now. Now, let's just see where we're going with this.
Do you have any other questions for me, Count?
Lieutenant Cathy, Lieutenant, do you have anything further for this witness?
Okay, so side note, judges will play a more or less proactive role in the examination process. Some judges will get involved. They will ask questions even during the main examination. They will play a more active role, whereas some other judges will just sit back and let the lawyer do his or her thing and observe, take notes, and do their thing. That said, if a judge asks a lawyer a question and it takes the lawyer multiple times asked and 7 seconds without answering a judge, expect for a reprimand. Judges, generally speaking, if they're not impatient, they expect immediate responses and immediate collaboration from all attorneys and witnesses. And if a judge asks a question more than once and it takes 7 seconds of silence before an answer comes out, dollars to donuts, that judge is going to get a little bit more frustrated than this judge got right here.
Excuse me. I need to dismiss you. I'm not through with my examination.
First thing here, lawyers don't dismiss the witnesses, judges do. So what happens is the witness comes, they swear oath before the judge. They'll either swear on the Bible or take a solemn oath, depending on the separation of church and state in the jurisdiction in which you practice. They sit typically staring at the judge. The lawyer asks the questions. the witness looks at the judge so the judge can assess credibility, and the witness responds to the judge. And when the lawyer is done with the witness, the lawyer says no further questions. The judge may have questions for the witness, and this happens quite a lot. The judge can ask as many questions as he or she wants after the witness is done testifying, but the lawyer does not dismiss the witness. The judge does once the judge is done with the witness. So,
Sit down.
I'd appreciate if he would address me as Colonel or Sir. I believe I've earned it.
Defense counsel will address the witness as Colonel or Sir.
I don't know what the hell kind of unit you're running here.
And the witness will address this court as Judge or Your Honor.
yeah, and if anybody talks like that to a judge, expect at the very least a warning of contempt, and if the judge is really cranky that day, contempt or some form of sanction.
And Lieutenant Kendrick was clear on what you wanted?
Any chance Lieutenant Kendrick ignored the order? Any chance he forgot about it? Any chance Lieutenant Kendrick left your office and said, the old man is wrong?
No.
So first of all, this illustrates a number of problems in the phrasing of this question. There are back-to-back-to-back questions which are themselves hypothetical or at the very least not factual. Bear in mind, a witness is not there to give you their opinion. They're there to give you statements of fact. If you want an opinion, that's when you bring in an expert witness, and only expert witnesses are legally permitted to give their opinion. Once a witness veers from fact and starts getting into opinion, there should be an objection normally from the lawyer representing that witness. You'd say, objection, asking a question of opinion to a witness of fact. And the other thing is, how does a lawyer think a witness who is adverse to them is going to actually answer this question? Is there any chance that something which is unfavorable to our case occurred? The witness is obviously going to say no. Of course there's no chance, because that's what that witness is there to do. That witness is not there to build your case. That witness is there to undermine your case. Which brings us into another issue. Hypothetical questions are not permitted in law. If you were to ask a question like, if you were to have done this, would this have happened? Nobody is there to hypothesize on what might have happened. The witness is there to testify on what in fact happened. And the other thing is, loading a question with too many facts and too many details is a problem in that it allows the witness to circumvent the essence of the question, or it allows for plausible deniability if one of the elements in the multi-element structured question is inaccurate or false. We'll get into that in a second. Let's get there.
If you gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, and your orders are always followed, then why would Santiago be in danger? Why would it be necessary to transfer him off the base?
Listen to how awful that question is. If you were to have done something, and something, then. If and then as a question, first of all, if any element of the premise of the question is false, it allows for the witness to get out of the answer. The question itself is also so convoluted and complicated, I'm pretty sure that most witnesses would not know what question they're answering come to the end of that question. A good examination should have concise, clear questions with as little superfluous detail in the question so that you don't confuse the witness and so that you don't allow the witness to deny things based on the potential inaccuracies of the elements on which the question is based.
He was being transferred.
Not what you said. You said he was being transferred because he was in grave danger.
That's correct.
You said he was in danger. I said grave danger. You said, is there
I
any
recall
other...
what I
I
said.
can have the court reporter read back to you.
I know what I said. I don't have to have it read back to me like I'm...
Why the two orders?
Another mistake that lawyers frequently make is they ask a question and don't let the witness answer, or they interrupt the witness instead of letting the witness talk. I always say that in law, less is more. If a witness is going off, it serves no value to cut the witness off and deprive them from electing whatever information they were going to elect. When a witness starts going on, the more likely it is that they're going to say something that's going to come back to bite them in the butt. And by cutting them off right away without letting them dig their own hole, you might be killing that chicken before it hatches. I don't know if that's a proper analogy, but you might be depriving them of electing information that's going to hurt them that you didn't know that they were going to say. The other thing is, if a witness goes on and on and on and answering a question, only electing the most beneficial self-serving facts, the judge is going to pick up on that also and is going to affect their credibility in front of the judge. But my goodness, Tom Cruise is like just interrupting Jack Nicholson, not even letting him get a self-serving answer out, let alone one that could potentially harm him in the long run.
You snotty little bastard.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
Yeah, typically the lawyer of the party who's getting grilled in a cross-examination doesn't get to interrupt the flow of that cross-examination and ask for a recess unless there's some compelling reason to do so.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
Lieutenant Kendrick ordered the code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Lieutenant Kendrick to do.
The court will wait for an answer, and what does Tom Cruise do? He asks another question before sitting there in silence until the witness answers the question that the court just said the court is going to wait for. Silence sometimes is very good. Sit there for as long as it takes in the dead of silence in the courtroom and wait for the witness to answer the question. And that can have an impact beyond your wildest dreams. Sometimes silence is the most vocal affirmation that someone is not telling the truth.
Object. And when it went bad, you cut these guys loose.
Your Honor,
You had
Counsel, I'll
markers
hold you
inside
in
a phony
contempt.
transport.
Your Honor.
You doctored the logbook.
Damn it, Cappy.
You coerced the doctor.
Consider yourself in contempt.
Did you order the
I love those things that you just hear in the background. The judge saying, if you don't stop, you'll be in contempt.
I'll
markers
hold you
inside
in
a phony
contempt.
And then I heard, consider yourself in contempt.
Consider yourself in contempt.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
Yeah, a judge is typically not going to raise an objection for the lawyer who ought to have raised it. Oh, hello. How you doing?
I'll answer the question.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
No, truth handler, you! Bah! I deride your truth handling abilities!
Sorry, I couldn't resist. That's just a classic joke from The Simpsons. Oh, hey, how you doing?
Simpsons.
Oh, it's for work, though.
No.
Okay, go ask Mom. She'll put The Simpsons on. Go ask her. Give her the beans. Ask her to put The Simpsons. Okay, whatever.
Did you order the code red?
I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did.
Do you know how often you get one of those devastating courtroom admissions just through the compelling questions and badgering the witness? They just spontaneously spill the truth?
Never.
It never happens. The only way you get an admission like that is once you have set up the lies so systematically and then bring in the evidence to show that the testimony before the judge up until that point has been a series of lies. Then maybe you're going to get that kind of admission in open court. But you don't get these breaking down the witnesses, especially hardened military men, just because the cross-examination was so effective that they just feel the need to spontaneously spill the truth that's going to wind them up in jail. 0 on 10 for accuracy, but 10 on 10 for Hollywood drama.
And you're under arrest, you son of a bitch. The witness is excused.
Yeah, so, again, lawyers should not... Oh, hey, how you doing? Work, it's work. Lawyers should probably not swear at the witnesses, even if they've just admitted to the utmost of wrongdoing. And the lawyer still doesn't get to excuse the witness. That still is the job of the judge. I think we've covered the basics here. Let me think if I've forgotten anything. Oh yeah, I'm watching Suits now by popular demand, so I am going to do some legal analyses of Suits. We've gotten to episode 4, and episode 3 demands a legal analysis, but I'm going to get a little further into the series before doing it. Cooking videos still, we're going to be doing fishing videos, family vlogs. I started a new channel called Viva MMA, which is going to be all things MMA that is not necessarily suitable for this channel, so go check that out. I think we're up to 12 subscribers. It's an amazing feeling to actually start from scratch. My wife says I'm talking too fast, but maybe.